So as the battle between Fake Sawman and Denji continues, I think I'm finally starting to understand the idea of what this battle is supposed to symbolize. Fake Sawman using the bodies of the people that are calling for Chainsaw Man's name, that are asking Denji to please help us and do everything that is possible to get them out of this Cronenberg monster that they're currently in right now. Because as they're throwing hands, the Fake Sawman is throwing these insanely huge Hulk punches, and every single time Denji dodges them, it just causes the humans immense pain. Whether Denji slashes and attacks the people that are making up Fake Sawman's body, or he just dodges the attacks and does his best to just let them live, they are in immense pain either or. And of course, the Chainsaw Man that we know and love is not someone that would be willing to hurt people that are calling his name. As ends up happening later on in the chapter, when Denji is thrown into the debris of a building, Yoru actually shows up to ask if he wants help. She reminds Denji that, why don't you just kill these people? And Denji sadly says that he doesn't want to hurt people that like him, because as we know, with power forever gone, all of the people he thought were friends turning out to be enemies. Even someone like Asa just constantly being switch swapped between Yoru and her personality. Denji doesn't really have any friends left. He lost Nayuta, he lost his pets, everything is gone. So even though Denji is okay with that, he also at the same time doesn't want to reduce the numbers of people that like him any lower than it already is. This is the crossroads that I think Denji is at here. Is he willing to accept this life of a loner, this life of a devil alongside the war devil? Or does he still want to pretend to uphold the values that Chainsaw Man is? Because that's really what Fake Sawman represents. As I've been mentioning across the last couple of chapters, it's very clear that this simulacrum of what the public has built Denji up to be, and what Denji always aspired to be as well. Not, hurting people that call out his name, saving women because we like women, obviously. Hey guys, real quick, if you want to support the channel, make sure you go down to gamersubs.gg/noop and get 10% off your nootropics and energy supplement fix, and we'll get back to the video. Fake Sawman is the purest representation of what Chainsaw Man was in the media, was to the world, and was to Denji. It's symbolic for him to fight Fake Sawman here, because again, with Denji supposedly beginning to walk away from all of those things that he once was, he now has to almost face a complete mirror of himself and see if he can actually conquer that. As Yoru mentions, when Asa became popular in the Devil Hunter world, that popularity and that love that all of the people had for her did not last forever. It was very fleeting and quick, and the world has already forgotten about her. Yoru tries to tell Denji this, that try as he might to save these people, at the end of the day, they're in a crisis situation that is life or death, and they're really calling out to whoever is going to save them. Give it a couple months, give it a couple years, they're not going to remember Chainsaw Man. They might say, oh, remember that guy that helped me? The moment that Chainsaw Man does something that the public does not like or deems it as bad or evil, they will immediately turn on him the same way that they turn on every single thing in this world that goes away that they don't like. That is just the way that the masses work, and honestly, it's the reason we're in this apocalyptic scenario in the first place. The humans inside Fake Sawman believe that if Denji is able to cut through Fake Sawman's heart, they may actually be able to separate from Fake Sawman and live, despite the fact that Denji believes that now they're a part of Fake Sawman's body. If he kills Fake Sawman, they will most likely die as well. And while these humans are completely missing the point of what Denji is trying to explain to them, he really doesn't have too much of a choice. If he fumbles here, he's going to die. He does his best to strike through the heart of Fake Sawman, just finding out that inside of his chest, there's even more regular innocent human beings that are getting in harm's way. It brings me to the fork in the road for Denji. Will Denji stick to the values that he once held true to, believing in this hero of the world that he built Chainsaw Man up to be, person that he aspired to be at the end of part 1 when he saw the TV talked good about him and had girls crying his name, and he was crying and he really wanted to be this Chainsaw Man figure. Now that he's faced with the exact representation of what that simulacrum is, and again, simulacrum is just the amalgamation and persona that is taken on by the thoughts and masses of feelings coming together. At a certain point, the person that is Denji Chainsaw Man separates from what the public believes to be Chainsaw Man, because the public only sees select few moments of what Denji actually is. They see him in his heroic light, not in his worst possible moments. They don't see him groveling and crying in the aging world. They just see him saving people. So it creates this persona, this idea of Chainsaw Man that is not truly Denji. In this small little mini battle, Denji is going to have to realize that he can no longer go back to being this Chainsaw Man persona. Now that he's accepted that his family, his second family, is gone. He lost Nayuta. Nayuta is not going to come back, and if she does, she will no longer be Nayuta. Now that he has to live with that, he also needs to learn that this Chainsaw Man that he was striving to be is not the ideal life for him to live. Denji needs to find a new way. Now that he's lost, purposeless, and kind of just aimlessly wandering around, he now needs to defeat his former philosophy in order to come up with a new one. And I think that's really the whole point of this battle that's going on and what Fujimoto is trying to get through to us, because that's the best way that I can explain it to make sense of this small little transitionary period between finding out Fami was the Death Devil and now this big scenario that Fami is trying to cause, sicking the Falling Devil, Fake Saw Man, and the real Famine Devil on the rest of Japan in order to create as much fear as possible, which is how the chapter ends. Denji and Yoru get caught up in the gravity bending power of the Falling Devil, who is just now picking up giant buildings and in trying to inspire fear while also teaching Famine the best way to bring fear to human beings, because Famine Devil has just been so irrelevant for so long. I mean, again, I mentioned it earlier in a couple reviews ago, but the very fact that famine just has not happened in the last century or so, there's still hunger in the world, but famine's just not a problem we deal with anymore, so she's weak. Where is this going for the future? Is the Falling Devil and the Famine Devil going to be more relevant? I really couldn't tell you. Alls I know right now, and what I have a pinpoint on the mind of Fujimoto, Denji and Fake Saw Man are going to come together in order for Denji to gain the character development that he may need to hopefully either separate from the War Devil and Yoru or gain the power he needs to defeat the Death Devil. And 9 times out of 10, with the way that we know part 2 has been working, this is just all going according to Fami's plan. So until next chapter, just because these chapters go so slowly, there's only about 14 to 15 pages, that's all I really have to say here. But until next chapter, I'm sure we will get some more tidbits of information that will show Denji's character development and what that new character development is going to look like. Until then, I will be covering every single chapter of Chainsaw Man. You can guarantee it. No matter how short the chapters are, I'll be here every week giving you the tea. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget, watch any other Chainsaw Man videos that are on the channel or any other content that you may enjoy or read weekly, because I cover all of it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.